Hello and welcome to the weekly vmcampos Comic Book Club. I'm your host, vmcampos. This is the series where I count down the top 10 first issues releasing this week on New Comic Book Day. Today's episode is for February 10th, 2021. At number 10, I've picked Dark Horse's Black Hammer Visions number 1 of 8. I went with the Evan Dorkin variant cover, basically featuring everyone's favorite dairy products gone bad, milk and cheese. They are this hilarious underground creation of Evan Dorkin, who is a pair of super violent characters, and they're featured in the cover, but nowhere else, I think. Just on the cover, which is hilarious and meta. And the creative team is writer Patton Oswalt and artist Dean Kotz. Number 9 from Boom Entertainment is 7 Secrets number 1, 5th printing, written by Tom Taylor and art by Danielle Di Nicolo. So if you haven't had a chance to pick up the previous printings, here we have a 5th printing of the series. Obviously means it's very popular. It's kind of an interesting story. It's a mix between Once and Future and Undiscovered Country, and it comes from the New York Times best-selling author Tom Taylor, who worked on Deceased. Di Nicolo also worked on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Basically, it's 7 powerful secret words that can change the world. Number 8 is American Mythology Productions' The Three Stooges Through the Ages number 1. Now, I'm biased in this pick because I love The Three Stooges. They're my favorite comedic act. And so American Mythology Productions has been around for 5 years. One of the first comics I ever got of theirs was a Three Stooges comic, and here they're celebrating their 5th anniversary with another Three Stooges comic. So it's a variety of writers and artists contributing short stories about the Three Stooges throughout time and history. I'm picking up the photo cover with the classic Larry, Moe, and Curly. At number 7, I picked IDW's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero Yearbook 1. This is written by Larry Hama and art by Herb Trimpe and Bob McLeod. This is a reprint of classic G.I. Joe stories from the 80s, but it's also full of extra materials. So for first-timers getting into G.I. Joe, you get a variety of stories, and for old-timers, you get some nostalgia plus new stuff. The cover is by a modern-day superstar, Netho Diaz. Number 6, and now for something completely different, from Keenspot Entertainment, I picked Junior High Horror's Strangest Thingies number 1. This is an all-ages, dyslexia-friendly horror parody. The cover is a wonderful ripoff of Stranger Things. If you don't look too carefully, it definitely looks like this would be an official Stranger Things comic book, but it's a parody. It's also got 2 stories. The backup story is a parody of Little Shop of Horrors. The creative team is written by Rob Pachak and artist Eric Kent. Number 5, from Scout Comics, White Ash presents Galarian. This is a one-shot, so you get everything in one story, no fuss, no muss. This comic features 3 all-new tales exploring the romantic and bloody history of Galarian, the most dangerous elf to be found in the 9 realms. So I like comics that are self-contained. This one's got 3 different stories. Very cool cover art by Romina Moranelli. Interior art by Connor Hughes, Yishan Lee, and Finn Cram. Written by Charlie Stickney. Number 4, from Dynamite, Red Sonja Valentine's Day Special 2021 one-shot. Now, as I usually say, always get the cosplay covers. So here we have Savannah Paulson cosplaying the she-devil with a sword. She's doing a great job bringing the character to life. And as for the actual story, it sounds like it's a hilarious Valentine's-themed story, as she faces her greatest challenge of not killing her latest suitor. Number 3, Image Comics Radiant Black number 1. I really like this Marcello Costa cover. It really fills me with a sense of possibility. This is a mixture of Invincible and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's an ongoing series written by Kyle Higgins, interior art by Eduardo Ferigato. It's about reinventing superheroes for a new generation. Nathan turns 30, he's kind of a bit of a loser, but wait, he gets superpowers. So it's part of the reluctant superhero genre. Number 2 at Marvel Comics is Star Wars The High Republic #1, 3rd printing. I don't need to tell you that this brand new Star Wars comic has been incredibly hot, so hot that it's at the 3rd printing. The creative team is writer Cavan Scott and interior artist Ario Anindito. This story takes place hundreds of years before the Skywalker saga, brand new characters, brand new plots, and so popular it's gone on to the 3rd printing. This cover features some interior art. So if you still haven't gotten your own copy, pick up 3rd printing. And now, before we talk about the #1 first issue of this week, let's cover a couple of honorable mentions. From Image Comics, I've picked Haha #1, 2nd printing. This is written by Maxwell Prince and art by Vanessa Del Rey. So this is the 2nd printing of a really hot comic book that came out last month from the writer of Ice Cream Man, and we all know that Ice Cream Man is a series that's also very hot, so readers and collectors jumped onto his new series, Haha. Issue #1 sold out. I got my copy, but here we've got a 2nd printing to go after. The synopsis is, Haha is a genre-jumping, throat-lumping look at the sad, scary, hilarious life of those who get paid to play the fool. But these ain't your typical jokers. So it's a weird horror anthology type of series over at Image Comics. DC brings us Love is a Battlefield. This is an 80-page one-shot, perfect for Valentine's Day. Written by various writers and drawn by various artists. The synopsis is, falling in love is rough, even for DC's greatest. Watch as Batman and Catwoman, Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, and all the rest, fight in vain against the all-powerful forces of romance. Even Amanda Waller fights the urge to bail on her mystery date. So I love this cover. It's the Carrie Andrews cover, featuring a hilarious scene where Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are going to be swallowed up by some creature thing. And Poison Ivy exclaims, "I told you we should have stayed in this year." Hilarious. And one final honorary mention is Marvel's King in Black #1, 2nd printing. So it's the big event that's currently going on in the Marvel Universe. If you missed the first issue, 1st printing, a 2nd printing is releasing this week. Donny Cates is the writer and Ryan Stegman is the artist. After a campaign across the galaxy, Null's death march arrives to the Earth, and worse yet, he hasn't come alone. So yeah, this is the huge company-wide crossover that's going on in the Marvel Universe, which yet again retcons the origin of the symbiotes. I remember when it was just a plain old gooey costume that Spider-Man got way back in Secret Wars #8 in 1984, which eventually he found out it was alive and got rid of it in Web of Spider-Man #1 and then returned as Venom in Amazing Spider-Man #300. Oh, those were the days. But now Null rules the origin. And the #1 first issue for this week is DC Comics Future State Wonder Woman #1 of 2 2nd print. So Future State has also been very popular. Here's your chance to get issue #1, 2nd printing. Very cool design cover featuring Yara Flor, the new Wonder Woman. January and February are the months that DC is releasing their Future State books, which will then change the course of the DC Universe for the rest of 2021. So go back and read the comics that are laying the foundation. What do you think? Did I get it right? What did I miss? Tell me all about it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And consider pledging at my Patreon. You'll get tier rewards and exclusives over at patreon.com/vmcampos. If you can't pledge at the moment, no worries, simply follow for free to be alerted to everything that I do. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next week.